NCERTs are important, but just to a certain limit of understanding basic things. Ultimately, we have to go beyond NCERTs, way beyond NCERTs. And also, not every NCERT is important. Maybe a geography NCERT is way more important than, say, a polity NCERT, right? So what we'll do over the course of next 10 days is get an idea of all the basic information that you would expect somebody till class 10th to know. So what we'll discuss is nothing new for you. You would have studied this in your school, but you have forgotten about it. Because in the school days, the focus is on learning maths and science, right? Engineering, medical stream. And then once you become an engineer, you realize that, oh, I should have studied history and geography properly. But that's too late. Nevertheless, so a lot of things have changed in the NCERT books as well. Books are more interactive, more fun. They have more photographs, right? They have also reduced a bit of content. So anyway, let's begin. So first up, we have the class 6th NCERTs, and this is the book that you have, Exploring Society, India and Beyond. Okay, so this is that book of NCERT. Now this book will have some history chapters, some geography chapters, etc. We'll focus on the polity chapters. So Indian polity. So you have 3 chapters primarily. The theme D has governance and democracy, and you have 3 chapters, 10, 11 and 12. So if you don't have this book, you can purchase this book, or else you can freely download this book and then also read the chapters on your own. We'll discuss briefly as to what is there in the chapter. Clear? So that is how we'll begin our discussion. So the first thing you can write is NCERT class 6th as your heading, and then you can write the name of the book as well. So at any point of time, if you ever feel like reading the book, then you can. Okay. So NCERT class 6th, and the book name is Exploring Society, India and Beyond. Exploring Society, India and Beyond. Done? Okay, great. So first up, the first heading, Grassroots Democracy. Please write Grassroots Democracy. Venkat Sai, sir, can we get the recorded version of this class? I am not sure if. Do we have the recordings of this class, or you'd also not know? You'll have to contact the office, I think. Maybe I'm not the best person to answer these technical queries. Okay. So, grassroots democracy. Before we begin, I think since you're here to discuss Indian polity, right? That all this is under Indian polity. My question to you is, what exactly do you mean by polity? Indian, you know, of course, hopefully. So, what is polity?
Rules and regulations in politics.
Rules and regulations in political?
Political organization.
Okay.
Constitution.
Constitution. Okay. What else?
It deals about affairs of the state.
It deals with the
Affairs of state.
affairs of state. Okay. Anybody else would like to contribute? What is meant by polity?
Governance.
Governance. Okay. Polity simply means form of government. That's the literal translation of the word polity. So what it means is nothing but form of government. This is the meaning of polity. So in our country we have a parliamentary form of government. That's what we follow. It's important before you begin, and when you go back home, your relatives will ask you, you started preparing, so what's the subject? You will say Indian polity. They might ask you, what's the meaning of polity? You should be able to respond to your relatives at least, because they are more bothered about our lives. Okay. Also, there are two important things before we discuss anything further. Government and governance. Two different words. Tell me, what do you mean by government? Very basic. What do you think is government? organizing body. Okay. Anybody else? What is government? Anji sir, you're saying something.
It's a council of ministers headed by prime minister.
Council of Ministers headed by Prime Minister. Okay. What else? Sorry?
Formed by people.
Formed by people. Then what is governance?
It is a welfare for the people. Activities related.
Welfare for the people.
For the administration.
Administration. Then what is good governance? If governance is welfare, then what is good governance? Super welfare.
No corruption.
Where there is no corruption. Oh, we wish that day would come ever in our country or anywhere for that matter. There would be no corruption. Even the best of countries, if you look at the corruption perception index, there's an index which ranks countries based on perceived level of corruption. The best of countries also don't score full 100. 90 is the highest score. So in the best of countries have some corruption. Of course, India has immense amount of corruption, of which you'll be a part very shortly, once you clear the exam. Government is primarily a system or a group whose task is to create and enforce rules. Very basic information. Government, a body which makes rules and enforces rules. And governance is the process in which these rules are enforced. The process of taking decisions, organizing society, etc. is called governance. Making rules, government. Enforcing these rules, governance. Right? And that is our first point of discussion. Also, write the first heading, government. Government. Okay, Varaprasad, government is an institution. Monica, work for the people. Great. So government, right? A system slash group. A system slash group responsible for creating and enforcing rules. Responsible for creating and enforcing rules. Done? Below that, governance now. Governance. The process of making decisions, the process of making decisions, organizing society's life, organizing society's life with rules and ensuring they are followed. And ensuring they are followed. Clear? So this is government and governance. And also, just to extend, though this is not mentioned in your book, but just an extension of it, there is a term that we use very popularly called good governance. Right now, the Modi government is using this term a lot. Right? They also use other terms like minimum government, maximum governance. What is good governance? If governance means implementing rules and regulations, then what the hell is good governance? Effective implementation of rules and regulations, right? So good governance is how effectively public institutions are able to utilize public resources for public good. Okay? So we have all these institutions in our country, the government, and we have public resources. Now, how effectively are these institutions able to utilize country's resources not for their own good, for the good of the public, us? Okay, just below that now put a star mark and write good governance. Good governance. Right below. It is a measurement of how public institutions, it is a measurement of how public institutions utilize public resources for public good. Utilize public resources for public good. Okay. So, government and governance. Now, one more question that was raised in your book, in this chapter, was why exactly do we need rules and regulations? Do you think rules are required? Laws and rules? Really? Why? Why is that required? Sorry?
There will be destruction if you don't follow proper rules and regulations.
There will be destruction if you don't follow. Can't lead a normal life. Fair. They had a very nice photograph. When we have rules and we don't have rules. So this is actually India only when we have rules. With rules. But still, the point is that, if we don't have rules, then how will we be able to survive? Right? I think rules are required for the basic survival in society. Okay. So below that, change the paragraph, write one statement. Rules are required. Rules are required for basic survival in society. Okay. Now, one more thing I think you're all aware of this as well is the information that what are the various organs of the government or the state. Now see, since we are discussing about this NCERT books, sometimes some words might not be very carefully used because this is a class 6th NCERT. Understand this point. We cannot bother these young kids with state and government. They become confused because they have other things also. They are in the nibba-nibbi phase, They have other things in life going on, emotional heartbreak, etc. They can't be bothered with all these kind of things. But we should be slightly more careful because this is not our only target. We have to go beyond that. So even though they use the word, don't write anything, wait. Even though they use the word government, we won't. We'll use the word 3 organs of state. But before that, Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, they are states, right? Is India a state? Yes? Or some are saying yes, India is a state. Then what exactly is a state? How to define this body called state? Sorry? Body of political administration. Okay, fair. Anything else that would make a body a state? See, in the field of political science, there are 4 factors that make something a state. Okay. So, state would mean any body with a defined territory. Area is properly demarcated. Okay. Second thing is there should be a fixed population. Fixed population as in there should be a categorization, a definition of who is called a citizen, who is not a citizen. There should be, of course, now I'm using a big word here, sovereignty. Sovereignty means supremacy, independence from any external control. So, no external control, and there should also be an organized government which can enforce rules, regulations, etc. Start with this word first, state. State. Number one, define territory. Number two, fixed population. Number three, sovereignty. And also please mention here, no external control. No external control. That's the meaning of this word sovereignty, that there is no external control. India is a sovereign nation or a sovereign state. And fourth one is organized government. Clear? So please remember now, we refer to state, states also are state, India is also a state. The actual definition of state is this. Clear? So when we in polity in general, when we talk about state, then we are referring to this concept of state, not actually some state like Andhra or Telangana, otherwise specifically mentioned. So now our next heading is 3 organs of state. So please tell me the 3 organs of state. Are you aware? Great, amazing. We have amazing audience today. Political authority to maintain peace and harmony in society. Great. Manupati, Venkat Lakshmi. Okay. To control the chaos. So 3 organs. Number 1, legislature. Legislature, the body. What is the task of legislature? Legislature, please write below. Responsible for creating, amending or repealing laws. Responsible for creating, amending or repealing laws. REPEALING. What is the meaning of this word repeal? Repeal means to remove, end, close it, shut down, okay, delete. That's the meaning of the word repeal. So you create laws, you can repeal laws. Legislature, okay, comprising of the people who are called legislators, okay. Second organ, these are politicians who make laws in the country, but our politicians are very innocent people. They make laws but can't understand those laws. So for that we need one more organ to help them understand the laws. And that organ is the judiciary. So what is the task of judiciary? So judiciary primarily has 2 tasks. One, of course, we know very well, that resolving disputes. When cases are filed, when we fight, we can go to the judiciary, file a case there. And you know very well how efficient our judiciary is. Super fast decisions. No? Indian judiciary is very fast. You file a case today, judgment will come in just 10-12 years. That's how quick our judiciary is. The average time that it takes for Supreme Court to give a judgment is 4 years. That's average. And High Court, lower courts even longer. So in the Indian judicial system, we say on an average you can spend around 15 years of time. 1/4 of your life spent in court case only. And they're also very efficient. They have very few cases in the court which are pending. How many cases are pending in our court? Any idea? 10-15 lakhs? There are more than 5.3 crore cases pending, okay, in the country. At least 1.6 lakh cases pending for more than 30 years. So anyway, this is the great judiciary. But just to kindly remind you, if you make too many statements against judiciary, there is a law called contempt of court. Have you heard of this? No? Contempt. Contempt meaning scandalous remarks, attacking the dignity of the court. If you make such remarks, the court can punish you. So we'll always respect the courts. Courts are the best, amazing. Indian courts are great, right? So we'll not make any humorous remark on courts because risk factor, jail sentence possible. Up to 6 months of jail is possible. I have a batch to complete, so I can't go to jail right now. That's not possible. Okay, so judiciary. First task, resolving disputes. Please write. Resolving disputes. Resolving disputes. Second task. So as I said that our MPs are innocent and they don't understand laws. Judiciary is the one which helps us understand laws. So they interpret laws. Second task. Interpret laws. I think that's the beauty of judiciary in our country. Whatever the judiciary interprets the law to be, the law is that only. Okay? Whatever intention was there behind the law, it does not matter. If judiciary today says that this is the meaning of the law, that becomes the final meaning of the law. Interpreting the laws. And one more thing. Judiciary also has the power to check the constitutional validity of any executive or legislative action, meaning government actions or the actions of legislature. When they make some laws, when the government makes some rules, are those laws and rules within the framework of constitution? Who will decide this? The judiciary. This concept, though they have not mentioned in the book, but the concept is called judicial review, which is your third point. Please write. Reviews reviews whether laws and executive decisions executive decisions are constitutional. Reviews whether laws and executive decisions are constitutional. Okay? Once you wrote this, after that, in bracket right there itself, judicial review. Okay, this is what is judicial review. Are you clear? So that's the idea of the second organ. Finally, the third one, of which you also might be a part of in future. Might, because you have to clear the exam first. That is important. What's the third organ? Executive. Please write executive. And what's the task of executive? Okay. Great. Implement laws. Implement laws. Done? So this is all about the three organs. In your book, they talk about real life application of how these three organs work when legislature, just an example, will make some cyber laws. The executive will then do what? Enforce the cyber law in the country. And when crime is committed, then judiciary might resolve disputes, provide for punishment in case somebody breaks laws. Some hackers, Instagram comments is full of hackers willing to hack the idea of anyone. So not those hackers, genuine hackers. So that's the idea. This is how all these three organs operate together. Okay? Just an example of how this works. Now, next heading, separation of powers. The moment you have three organs, we also need what? Separation of powers between the three organs. Heading, separation of powers. Don't draw this diagram, it's okay. What is meant by separation of powers? The three organs have different functions to perform. Yes or why? Why would they have different functions to perform? Because they can keep a check on each other, right? So separation of powers includes a very important concept of, as we say, checks and balances. Please write below that. It prevents concentration of power. It prevents concentration of power. Please underline the phrase concentration of power, and promotes checks and balances, and promotes checks and balances among the three organs. Checks and balances among the three organs. Underline checks and balances. Clear? So please remember, from this time onwards now, whenever you want to ensure that every organ performs its task properly, we need to separate the functioning. Once separation of power happens, checks and balances become automatic. And this is how we prefer things. Executive should not enter the domain of lawmaking, right? Judiciary should not start making policies. Government should not directly start punishing people. Give me an example of how separation of powers can be violated in any real life scenario. How can this be violated? Or maybe how has this been violated in the past? Any example?
So there are some cases when judicially involved in parliamentary matters.
Like?
In COVID time, like workers, sanitary workers.
But that is a good thing, right? Or bad thing?
But it
So
came beyond its limits.
one member says that, a very good example is the COVID times. When government and the legislature were found wanting, lacking, they were not able to perform their tasks properly. Judiciary had to interfere and give orders to government that please perform your tasks, please implement the regulations properly, focus on the migrant laborer, focus on the sanitation worker, right? So sometimes, yes, when some organ fails to perform its task properly, the other organ has to interfere. That is there. That's a good use of violating the separation of powers. What could be a negative example?
Playing of nation anthems or in cinema theaters.
Something beyond judiciary. Any other organ that has tried to violate the separation of powers. So in our country, there is this state called Uttar Pradesh, where you have the dynamic chief minister, Bulldozer Baba. Yogi ji. Now, in that state, there have been constant allegations of encounters. In your state also, we have seen encounters happen. My point is, what is meant by a police encounter? What is a police encounter?
So to maintain peace and law and order for the secure safety personal life.
For safety, we encounter people. Oh. Okay, fair. That could be an understanding. So I hope you are aware of police encounters. An accused. You know accused? Accused is somebody who is being accused of committing a crime. The crime has not been proven or his guilt has not been established yet. So an accused is caught and then possibly he is killed while being taken to the court or whatever. This is a classic example of encounter. My point is, whose task is it to give punishments? Judiciary or government? Judiciary. Police is a part of government. When the police kills the person who is a mere accused, then what happens in this case? The police is performing tasks of judiciary, violation of separation of power. So sometimes it can be good also when the judiciary tries to instruct the government to perform the functions properly. Sometimes it can be bad also. So violation of separation should be avoided under every circumstance, but it may be good sometimes or not good. It may be needed sometimes, right? But in most cases it is negative only. And that is why we have clear separation of powers. Okay. Every body has distinct function to perform. Are you clear? Just below that, right? Examples of violation of separation of power. Examples of violation of separation of powers. Right below, police encounters, comma, judiciary giving instruction to government for effective enforcement of laws. Clear? Etc. So we can have multiple such cases. We should avoid any such thing. In fact, even this should be avoided because, if let's say we allow judiciary to start making policies, judges are not experts. Judges have not been elected. They are appointed people. After all, India is a democracy. What is a democracy? People who elect the government. I'm sure you have heard of this. For the people, of the people and by the people. But you know very well that in reality it fars the people, it offs the people, and also during election it buys the people. No, this is not for the exam. This is for the exam. Nice things. We recently had elections to the Panchayat and then municipalities. And the rate list also in various places. 2,000, 3,000 for voting. This is a nice way to earn money. And then once you sell your vote, then you can't even make a claim that government and the municipality is not performing properly because you have sold your vote. Now keep quiet for 5 years. For 5 years, poor performance you can't question. That is unethical. You have already sold the right to question. Right? So that's there. Anyway. So this is a separation of powers. They gave a very good example during COVID, how every organ keeps a check ensuring the performance, how the legislature keeps making effective laws, how the executive ensures that the laws are implemented properly. Judiciary keeps a check on both the other organs, okay, that the laws are fair and transparent, executive performs tasks properly. So during such time we can also see these checks and balances working properly when other organs keep a check on each other. Okay. Then this is the class 6 topic to study, 3 levels of government. Next heading please. 3 levels of government. 3 levels of government. So at the bottom we have what is called local government. Please write local government. So local government, what will it do? It handles, right below that, it handles issues at the town or village level. It handles issues at the town or village level. Okay. Example could be flood management. Example, flood management. Okay, that's the lowest level of government. Then we have the next level, which is state government. Second level is state government. So here please write, it manages state level issues, state-level issues. It manages state level issues like law enforcement, agriculture, and health. Okay, write example, relief effort during flood, relief effort during flood, relief effort during flood. You see how different levels have different tasks to perform. Flood, basic management, municipal corporations or the panchayats. Relief distribution, state government. And third one, the top tier, what is that? Central government. Please write central government. Central government, right? It deals with national and international matters. It deals with national and international matters like defense, foreign policy, defense, foreign policy, and currency. Below example, deploying army assistance, for ASSISTANCE, army assistance for disaster relief. For disaster relief. Okay. So 3 levels of government. And the last topic that is mentioned in this chapter is the word which you just discussed, democracy. Next heading, democracy. So democracy is derived from 2 Greek words. And what are those Greek words? Demos and Kratos. You can just write like this. Demos. Demos means people. Kratos means rule or power. People. Or power. So, if you translate it literally also, it means what? Rule of the or rule by the people. So, democracy simply means rule by the people. This is the literal translation. Also the meaning of democracy. So, when India is said to be a democracy, we are governing ourselves. At least on paper. In reality, know very well, right? Politicians and civil servants, when you will be governing. Even though the name is servant, but people are servants to civil servant. They are more like bosses. No? I think that's the whole point of joining civil service. Why do you want to join civil service? For serving the nation. That is for interview, I know. See, people join civil service for 3 reasons. Prestige, this job gives a lot of prestige. Power, yes, full use of power, taking revenge from all the enemies, relatives, etc. And of course, opportunity for graft. Graft means your favorite enterprise, corruption. These are the 3 reasons why people join civil services. And then comes the 4th reason, that is your interview answer. Serving the nation, right? Living up to the ideals, working for the poor, etc. So we have great people who in the interview and all make all these statements, and once they clear the exam, the newspaper walas will come to your house and then you'll give gyan on how to prepare to the coming aspirants. Then people will ask you, what is your aim now? You have become a civil servant. So a few years back, I think 2021, there was a person from Northeast, he cleared the exam and he said that I have to focus on improving health and education in my district. Last year he was caught in corruption, 10 lakh rupees. Within 4 years, he forgot his motive to come to UPSC. And this is very common, right? So, and we still have a paper called ethics paper. You know the entire syllabus now? One paper is ethics paper, where you are tested on ethics. In fact, the second half of the paper is only case studies, where you are given a scenario and you have to react on the scenario, on how you would react. So primarily it is nothing but just lies. How well you can lie on the paper, get great marks, and then full corruption. I hope you will not be corrupt, you will be the honest people, right? Okay, so democracy. Next heading, types of democracy. Types of democracy. See, the very first one is called direct democracy. It is not practically possible, especially in today's day and age. People directly voting on issues, people directly deciding on things, especially in India as a country, such a large population, right, touching 150 crores. With the performance of our people, we can touch 150 crores shortly. Recently, somebody in UP had made a statement. Did you hear the statement? He said that, we should have, he was trying to inspire the people by saying that he has 8 kids. So you guys can improve. So the government has a slogan called Hum Do Hamare Do. We are a couple and we should have only 2 children. So that fellow said, Hum Do Hamare Do Darjan. 2 dozen at least. And then he gave a logic also that see, India is a rising superpower because we have youth population. So let's make it a bigger superpower by having 2 dozen people. True statement. This means 24 kids per person. That will be too much. Anyway, so that's there. He himself has 8 kids. What can we say? We have limited resources in the country. The biggest problem is this population growth and the resource crunch. How can you make such silly statements? In fact, this was a government's policy also, right from 1970s onwards, when we realized that the population is rising at a very drastic level. In fact, northern states, they went crazy completely, right? 5, 6, 7 kids was common. Southern states did take a lot of steps, especially, states like Kerala and all. I think they had the legacy of the princely state of Travancore also. So those princely states had spent a lot of money in education, so people understood this. And the leaders of these northern states, they also contributed to it. One leader who was a former chief minister, he claimed that he had 11 kids. And he said, why? Because he was in the opposition and he had to oppose everything of the government. If government should have less kids, I will have more kids. So they also crack jokes about all these things. Having 11 kids, it is not funny. It's a serious problem. But in fact, that fellow, once he was in some reality show, I think KBC or something, where he was shown a family photograph of all his 11 kids. He could not recollect the names of some of his kids. True. I think that's a time to stop when you can't remember the names of your kids. Anyway, so first one is direct democracy, which means that, citizens directly vote on issues, right? Number 1, direct democracy. Citizens, please write, citizens directly vote on issues. Citizens directly vote on issues. Done? Okay. Number 2. Representative democracy. There is something you would understand better. Representative democracy. Because we go and vote for these MPs, MLAs, then they go and make laws. So they represent us. That's how most democracies function also. We can't directly take part. So we choose some people, they go and sit and then they make laws. Please write representative and write citizens elect representatives to make decisions. Citizens elect representatives to make decisions on their behalf. Citizens elect representatives to make decisions on their behalf. Okay? And the third one, which will be the cause of concern for the next 2 chapters, is called grassroots democracy. Please write. Third one. grassroots democracy. Right here, it focuses on involving citizens. It focuses on involving citizens in decision making at the local level. It focuses on involving citizens in decision making at local levels. Clear? So this is the basic idea about grassroots democracy. In the next chapter, we'll see what exactly does this grassroots democracy entail. This chapter also started with a very beautiful quote. Let's come to that. Every such NCERT chapter starts with a beautiful quote. There is no peace without justice, no justice without equality, no equality without development, no democracy without respect to the identity and dignity of cultures and peoples. Right? I don't know whether class 6 students will understand all this or not, but it seems more like meant for senior people, not class 6 students. Anyway, so this was all about our first chapter. Now come to the second chapter, grassroots democracy. So this is, the first chapter was on governance, basic information. Second chapter is on panchayats. Do you agree? What do you say? Yes? Of course, Gandhiji said this, Gandhiji said a lot of things, he kept on saying things only, that's a problem. No, nice things, okay. So, it's very important for our syllabus. Knowing Gandhiji and Gandhiji's statements is very, very important, okay. So, the real India lives in its villages. Actually, this can be justified also by the basic population distribution. We don't have the current census. 2011 census is the latest census we have. Why? Every 10 years we need to have the census, yes? But we do not have the census 2021. Why don't we have the census 2021? Pandemic. Elections, no pandemic. Everything else, we have pandemic. They have answer to every failure, pandemic. That's the beauty of the governments, right? They always find excuses. They may not have skill and talent, but they have one thing in excess, excuses for everything. Anyway, census 2011 also clarifies that at that point of time, we had 121 crore people as the total population, out of which 37.7 crore are living in urban areas and 83.3 crore are living in rural areas. This is roughly 68.8% population compared to 31.2%. Right? In fact, it was coming down slightly because of urban migration, but due to the reverse migration after the pandemic, we are back to the same ratio, roughly 66-67% in rural areas and around 33-34% in the urban areas. Clear? But yes, slowly and steadily, urban population is also increasing because of migration to urban areas for job opportunities. Anyway, so that is one important point to understand. Let's now write the heading: grassroots democracy dash grassroots democracy dash panchayats. in bracket write rural governance. So please remember, the rural governance is referred to as panchayats with a generic name, and urban governance is called municipalities. Clear? Okay. Write the first point below, something you already know. 2/3 of India's population, 2/3 of India's population resides in two-thirds of India's population resides in rural areas. In rural areas. Full stop. Second point. Governance at the village level. Governance at the village level addresses local issues and promotes self-reliance. Governance at village level addresses local issues and promotes self-reliance. Clear? Okay. So we have at the rural level the system called Panchayati Raj system. Okay. And that Panchayati Raj system also has a 3-tier structure. Tell me what are the three tiers? Do you know? Here also we have 3 tiers. At the village, so this is the entire state. The entire state is divided into small parts called districts. Okay. Every district in turn is divided into blocks, mandals. What do you call it? Mandal? Okay, mandal, block. And every block or mandal is further divided into gram or village. So we have the panchayat at village level called the gram panchayat. We have panchayat at district level called a district panchayat or zilla parishad. And we have at the intermediate level called intermediate panchayat or block panchayat or mandal parishad, mandal panchayat. Names keep on varying from state to state. Okay? Because local governance actually belongs to states as a topic. You can draw this diagram first and then we can proceed to write a 3-tier structure. Just freehand is okay. No, you can use whatever instrument you want, you can use, no problem. Just be fast. Shading, coloring in the house. Should we proceed? All done with this challenging diagram? Great. So next heading, please write Panchayati Raj system 3-tier structure. This is a photo I just picked from the NCERT. There is no need to replicate the photo. You can just write these 3 also with an arrow directed like this. If you are interested in drawing the triangle, you may, but not really required. This will not affect your selection, don't worry. So Panchayati Raj system, 3-tier structure. Number 1, village level. What is that called? Gram Panchayat. At the block level called Block Panchayat. For your information purpose, you can also write in bracket mandal, or this will keep on wondering what the hell is a block now. Is the switch on? Just switch it on. Do you have live access? Mobile access? No? No idea. I don't know how it. Yes, online people, can you still see me, hear me? Video not coming. Yes, yes. Okay. Now am I audible? Audible, visible? Silence there. Yes, okay, okay. Now people are more used to the online thing, during the pandemic, when we started the online thing first, not here, in a different organization. It was a very popular one at that point of time, the largest in the country. So it collapsed a few years back. Not because of me, just to clarify, because of its own problems. So there, when we had the very first batches of online people for the first time in online classes, they would panic because see, network issues might happen. They would panic. Where is my money? It is gone. So that was the first thing that they felt. What has happened now? Slowly they also had this trust. That's how the entire concept of ICT. What is ICT? Information and Communication Technology, e-governance, is built on trust only. Initially, people did not like to use online transactions, ATM cards. Now they have full faith, and even everybody is using GPay now, except autowalas. I don't know what is their concern, but now we have more trust on the system. That is how slowly and steadily people accept technology. Technologia, that's there. Okay, audio is too low. Oh, I had the same volume of speech. Others, is the audio too low? Or is it okay? Yes, are you done here? Oh, seems okay. Great. So yes, we have the Panchayati Raj system, 3-tier structure, district level, block level and village level. Depending on where the concerns are, people do get their concerns resolved. How many of you belong to rural areas? How many of you belong to rural areas? So at the rural area, what is the body called? Which? Gram Sabha. Have you ever been to a Gram Sabha meeting? Yes, it's full on fun. Others who have not been to the meeting, don't worry. Once you clear the exam, in the Bharat Darshan course, which is on taxpayers' money, you can visit the entire country and they'll also take you to a Gram Sabha meeting. That's a completely farce meeting because you are made into batches and you are sent to various villages, and in that village, a Gram Sabha meeting is conducted just for you. So 10 people come to the village, and in that village, not a single DM has ever come. Suddenly 10 DMs are coming. For them, you are DM only. So they are in their best of behavior in that meeting. Proper discussions are being held. People raise their hands and then talk. In regular Gram Sabha meetings, things are not like this. Allegations, personal attacks, slippers can be thrown, fights can break, right? Demand for tea, coffee, all these things can happen. So this is the Gram Sabha meeting. So this is a Gram Panchayat. Now the word Panchayat comes from Panch, 5 people, but that's not how the situation is now. Normally Gram Panchayats now have 15 to 20 people depending on how big the village is. Also, when I say Gram, it does not actually mean one village, just to clarify, because India has around 7 lakh villages. but we have only 2.7 lakh Gram Panchayat. So Gram Panchayat or Gram here refers to group of villages, okay, 2 or more villages. So we focus on the population. Roughly, we try to keep a population of 3 to 4,000 people. So the Gram could be a reference to 1 or more villages. Sometimes a large village can be a Gram, or multiple small ones can also be Gram. Clear? Anyway, so this is a done here. Should we proceed? Great. So this is the Gram Panchayat. So you have symbolic of the Panch, 5 people sitting here. Clearly he seems to be the boss, raising his fingers and all, full on arrogance. And others sitting. So this is the entire Gram Sabha people. So the point here is you are directly taking part in the discussions. So of course Gram Panchayat is the one which decides on basic policies and programs. But people directly participate. They don't make laws and rules, but they participate. Hence grassroots democracy. Either you directly make laws, direct democracy, or you choose somebody and then let them do everything. That is called what? Representative democracy. The third thing is we choose some people and we sit with them on their head. Come on, make laws for us now. Grassroots democracy. Are we clear? So please write now the first point or first heading, Gram Panchayat. Gram Panchayat. In the bracket write village level. Village level. So basic things, number 1, closest to the people. Closest to the people, physically also and metaphorically also. Closest to the people. Second point, members elected directly by Gram Sabha. Members elected directly by Gram Sabha. Okay? So Gram Sabha people directly vote and choose these members. Also to help you understand, just below that, in this, so this was the first point, closest to people. Second point, denote something. Now below that, put a star mark and write as a sub point. What is Gram Sabha? Please write. Gram Sabha. SABHA. All adult voters in the village. All adult voters in the village. Names of all the people whose names are in the voter list in the village, they are a part of Gram Sabha. Are you clear? So that is what is Gram Sabha. Names of all the people who are in the voter list. Clear? So done. Now come to the third point. Head. Who is the head? What is he referred to as? Again, different names, but normally called Sarpanch or Pradhan. Sarpanch / Pradhan. In some states, they might be called Mukhiya also, but your book uses these two words. Sarpanch, Pradhan, Mukhiya, Chairperson. In some states, they are called President, depending on which state you are from. Okay? I think in Andhra and Telangana, it's Sarpanch. Anyone from Karnataka? What are they called? President? Called Presidents. And other states, which states are you guys from? How many of you are from Telangana? Raise your hand, please. Oh, so we'll quote examples of Telangana only now. Andhra Pradesh? Sadly, very few. Karnataka? Tamil Nadu? Kerala? Other states? No? Oh, okay, great then. So primarily Telangana. So we'll focus on Telangana examples. what? Respect and fear also. If they can create their own state, they can do anything. So Sarpanch, Pradhan, all these are names that we use. It varies in northern part. In some states they call it Mukhia also. It does not really matter. Now, next, responsibilities. Tell me, since some of you belong to rural areas, what do you think are the responsibilities? Yes. Constructing roads. Okay, fair. Water. Sanitation. Okay. What else? Schools. Definitely. Healthcare facilities. Education school done, huh? What are you saying, madam? To conduct Gram Sabha. Huh? Of course, of course. That's also there. Anything else? Transportation. Okay, sometimes they do run bus service. Distribution of fertilizers. So primarily what they do is, if the center and states make some kind of welfare schemes, then they also look into implementing those welfare schemes, because at the village level it's very easy to identify who is a real beneficiary, because in our country the biggest problem is the non-beneficiaries take up all the benefits. Yes or no? There was a very popular photograph few years back in a newspaper that a person had gone to this PDS, PDS ration shops, where you get the food grains at 1 to 3 rupees per kg. The government scheme. So there a fellow had gone to get the food grains in his BMW. To get the food grains at 1, 2 and 3 rupees per kg. There should be some kind of shame. If you have the BMW, don't go there at least, right? So, and then a photograph was clicked, then this fellow claimed that, no, it is not my car, my relative's car. Who is this relative who is allowing you to take food grains in BMW, right? Anyway, so I think the real advantage here is that the Gram Sabha or the Gram Panchayat members know beneficiaries, they know the state of people's affairs, economic affairs, etc. So they can very easily identify beneficiaries. So they also help in implementing welfare schemes run by center and states. Please write responsibilities. First sub point, right here, below that. Local development. Local development. In bracket write roads, comma, water, comma, education, comma, sanitation, close the bracket. Second sub point, implementing welfare schemes. Implementing welfare schemes. Okay, so these are primarily the basic functions of Gram Panchayat. Next heading, please write Panchayat Samiti, block level. Again, names can vary. You write this heading, below that write this. Intermediate Panchayat. For our discussion and for our writing the exam, we'll focus on using this term as much as possible. Okay. So it is at an intermediate level, the link between Gram Panchayat and District Panchayat. So serves as an intermediary and links the villages and the district. First point, links the village and district levels. Okay, Shivani says to make sure every person in the village has basic needs. Okay. Links the village and district levels. Done. Second point. coordinates activities of multiple gram panchayats. Coordinates activities of multiple gram panchayats. Done. Third point, role. So primarily what they do is all the money that now you guys said that the panchayat is involved in building roads, education, sanitation. They need funds for all these things. Funds come from the district level, headquarters. DMs like you, called district collectors, would authorize the funding. So the gram panchayats, various grams are there. So the block's task is to also assimilate and consolidate all the various needs of different villages into one big plan and then ask the district for funds. Clear? Role. Please write. Consolidates village development plans. Consolidates village development plans for district level funding. District-level funding. Done. Now the topmost one, third one, which is Zilla Parishad. Zilla Parishad, also called District Panchayat. Zilla Parishad. Write the first point. Oversees, OVERSEES. Oversees development across the entire district. Oversees development across the entire district. Done. Second point, as I think I mentioned earlier, they allocate funds. So allocates resources. ALLOCATES. Allocates resources and monitors. Implementation of schemes like Pradhan Mantri Gram Sadak Yojana. You can give that example. PM Gram Sadak Yojana, etc. Done. And one last heading, please write. Functions of PRIs. PRI means Panchayati Raj Institutions. So when I say PRIs, I am referring to all three. Functions of PRIs. So they have various roles to play. They look into resource management, like managing water resources, rainwater harvesting, tree plantation, afforestation. They also resolve land disputes at local levels, nothing serious, but basic issues are resolved. Then they also look into developmental aspects, as we said, agriculture, health, sanitation, education, housing, all such things. So three roles primarily. First one, developmental role. Number one, developmental role. Right below that, number 1, first sub point, addressing agriculture, comma, health, addressing agriculture, comma, health, comma, education, housing, and sanitation. And sanitation. Done. Second sub point, just below this. This is something that they have made in a very passing reference, but we'll discuss this in detail also in future when we study polity in detail. Promoting women's empowerment and social justice. Promoting women's empowerment and social justice. Social justice. In bracket write reservation for SCs, ST, and women. One third. Reservation for SCs. SCs meaning scheduled castes. STs are scheduled tribes. Women are women, of course. One third. One third seats are reserved for women. Okay, in the panchayats. So when you see the gram panchayat, whatever is the number, 1/3 seats are reserved for women. Actually, the constitution says that not less than 1/3 seats. So at least 1/3 have to be reserved. But most states have increased it, and now they have made it to 50%. Okay, so 21 states in our country have actually made the reservation for women up to 50%. Your state also, Andhra, Telangana, all these states. I think some northeastern states are yet to do it. Goa and UP is one large state which has not made it 50%. Otherwise, all other states, recently Haryana also, few years back, made it up to 50%. So half seats, women. Clear? In fact, in your state, there was a concern in Andhra Pradesh, sorry, not Telangana, Andhra Pradesh, there's a concern. See, 50% seats are reserved for women. The remaining 50% are what? Reserved for men. No, they are open seats. So when you have open seat, anybody can contest, men or women. So some women contested from here also and they won. So now they were around 52% women in total and 48% men in total. Men were very upset about this, that we are now less than 50%. What is this nonsense? But of course nothing happened, right? So this is okay. This much of difference is okay. Historically this has been 99-1. So for some years if this is like this, there is no problem. Okay, first was developmental role. Number 2. Second, dispute resolution. Dispute resolution. Right below. Resolving land disputes. Resolving land disputes and addressing grievances locally. Resolving land disputes and addressing grievances locally. Done? Grievances locally. Third now, Second point was this. Now come to third one. Resource management. Resource management. Managing water resources. Below that, right? Managing water resources, comma, rainwater harvesting, and afforestation, AFFORESTATION, afforestation. Clear? So these are some of the tasks performed by the PRIs. Now in your book they have, given some examples of, grassroots leadership. How some sarpanches have paved way. Like this is one Dhyaneshwar Kamble, the first transgender, not first a transgender sarpanch. So the idea is promoting inclusivity in public service. Transgenders in 2014 were recognized as the third gender by Supreme Court. Okay, so as of now we don't really have any specific reservation policy for transgenders. That's a huge challenge. For most transgenders, life has been difficult for them right from childhood, and they are forced into professions like begging, etc., sometimes prostitution, right? So we need to also bring them into the mainstream. The idea of social justice is this only, right? People who for no fault of theirs are suffering, they should be brought to the mainstream. So that's the idea. Okay, so you can just write the name. Just below that now write a small heading. Examples. Examples. And write the name. Dhyaneshwar Kamble. Clearly obsessed with gold. In our country, gold obsession is very high, you know very well, right? So, Dhyaneshwar Kamble, give a dash and write. A transgender sarpanch promoting inclusivity. Promoting inclusivity and public service. Okay. Chituri sir, okay. Thank you, Ji. Appreciating my handwriting. It's okay. Yes, one more. Vandana madam. See, a very interesting case here is this lady because she became the first woman elected leader of her local panchayat. Okay, so in MP, from her local panchayat, she became the first elected leader. You can again see how, and she has worked towards improving education and sanitation, etc. So write the name, give a dash. Empowered women, empowered women and improved education and sanitation. Improved education and sanitation. Done. One more example, the last example you can write. Popatrao Pawar. He has also been given the award by the president for his performance. So his panchayat was completely drought prone, and he used techniques like tree plantation, rainwater harvesting, and made his panchayat into a very prosperous one. So just mention his name, give a dash and write. Implemented rainwater harvesting and tree plantation, comma, transforming a drought, DROUGHT, drought prone village, transforming, so drought prone village into a prosperous one. Done? That's about it. Last heading, importance of Panchayati Raj in governance. Tell me, what do you think is the importance of Panchayati Raj? Write the heading and tell me. Anything important or useless bodies, just wasting time. No importance?
Equalizing the importance equally with the urban areas.
Okay, improving the lives of people. Fair.
The grassroots problems are resolved.
Sorry?
Grassroots problems get resolved.
Okay, fair. That's there. Grassroots problems get resolved. Anything else?
Where in some concepts law and also few activities cannot reach up to the few streets or few villages.
Okay, inclusivity.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Bottom to top approach.
Bottom to top approach, inclusivity. Let's try these points then. Right, the first point, decentralization. What is meant by decentralization? When you devolve the power, hear me out, when you devolve the power to local levels, you empower them so that they can address their own needs. Decentralization. Decentralization. Give a dash and write. Decentralized form of governance. Okay, somebody wrote the exact same thing. Okay, great. Taking scheme implementation to people. Very good. Inclusivity. Okay, great, amazing. So write decentralization. Give a dash and write. Empowers local communities to address specific needs effectively. Empowers local communities to address specific needs effectively. Done? Second, as you all said, inclusive development. Okay, so we have to also ensure development of the marginalized people. So inclusive development. Please write there. Focuses on marginalized sections. Focuses on marginalized sections. In bracket, women, children, tribals, etc. Focuses on marginalized sections. And third one, self-governance. People are taught how to question, how to hold the government accountable, right? Self-governance. I think that's the most important aspect here. That's why, we say that local self-government is the best school of democracy. This is where you learn the importance of democracy. Self-governance, give it action, right? Promotes participatory democracy. Promotes participatory democracy. Done? Okay. So this finishes the second chapter, which is on rural governance. Now the third one, which you have to cover, is the what? Urban governance. Let's write again, heading grassroots democracy dash grassroots democracy dash municipalities. Municipalities in bracket write urban areas. Municipalities. Okay. Let's read a nice statement, too big. I desire that, okay, too much of desire. A full-fledged local body should be immediately formed so that people may know really what is an administration, what are the franchisee, what are the powers, what are the rights, and what are the privileges in a small sphere in their own town, in their own villages. What is franchisee? Franchisee, what is that? Voting right. Franchise or suffrage means voting right. In India, we have something called universal adult franchise. What does it mean? Very simple. Franchise is voting rights. Universal is for all adult. So voting rights for all adults. Universal adult franchise. So India has this since the advent of our constitution, right, from 1950. Other countries did not have this since 1950, or since their beginning. In most other countries, voting rights came in stages. Like say USA, for example, which gives us lecture on democracy and equality, they firstly gave voting rights to only rich white men, then to all the white men, then to white men and women, so all the whites, then to blacks. Okay, so voting rights do not come at the same time in USA for all, but in India, with a stroke of a pen, 1950, everybody got voting right. Okay, some people are upset at this also. Ambedkar was very unhappy at this, giving voting rights to people with such low literacy levels, but we have done great so far. Okay, so how do we go and vote? We look at the developmental criteria, the performance of the MP, MLA, etc. After evaluating his performance, then we go and cast our vote based on development. Okay. So urban governance is slightly different from rural governance. Don't draw this dangerous diagram, let it be. Don't draw this also. This is the Greater Chennai Corporation. This is the first ever municipal corporation established in the country. Okay. We had panchayats in 1957-59 phase. In 1957, we had a committee called Balwantrai Mehta Committee. Information in detail later on. That Balwantrai Mehta Committee gave a recommendation we should have panchayats. And finally, in 1959, we had the first panchayat in the country in Rajasthan, Nagaur district. Birthday of Mahatma Gandhi, rural things, birthday of Mahatma Gandhi, everything. 2nd October. But municipal corporation in Madras was set up in 1687. The order came in 1687, it was established in 88 and started functioning in 89. Are you clear? So let's start with this basic information, right, like this. First Municipal Corporation, 1688, Madras. Again, to clarify, the order was in 1687 and functioning began in 1689. But normally in most resources, this is what you will find. 1688, Madras. So of course it was a British given thing. You can also write this information. The first Panchayat, on the other hand, was established on 2nd October 1959, and this was in Nagaur district in Rajasthan. Online people, anybody from Rajasthan? Proud moment for people from Rajasthan. Okay. So, armed with this basic information, let's understand the structure. Write the first point below, just below this now. Write the first point. Urban governance requires a more complex structure. Requires a more complex structure due to higher population density, due to higher population density and diversity compared to rural areas. Full stop. Would you agree on this point? What makes an area an urban area? What all factors do you think? One we have mentioned. Population density. What else? Infrastructure. Okay, infrastructure fair. Anything else? Taxpayer. Okay, taxpayer. Employment. Where? In non-agri industries. Major employment should be in non-agri areas. Then population, of course. Not just density of population, also population. Economic importance. These are various factors based on which the governors can declare an area to be an urban area. Clear? Environmental crisis.
They ask you for destroying our environment.
But we can't categorize them based on this criteria. This happens later on. Firstly, they become urban areas, then people migrate, and then people cut down trees, build shopping malls where we can shop to our heart's content, purchase useless things, and then we have deforestation, population problems, etc. That's the slow stage, right? So you are lucky you are in Hyderabad right now, compared to Delhi. Not lucky compared to your place you have come from. Compared to Delhi. Delhi, dangerous place now for UPSC aspirants, right? So, and see, that's a surprising thing. Most aspirants who clear the exam, they go to Delhi at some point of time, etc. They see everything there, and once they become IAS, IPS officers, nobody cares about that place that they studied and at least got their first, interaction with UPSC. Delhi remains the same. Same level of pollution, same level of corruption, nothing changes. right? Anyway, let's not get so emotional. Please write. Second point. Focus is on decentralized governance. Focus is on decentralized governance. Okay. Now, I'd also clarify one more thing here. There is a small difference between the urban areas and the rural areas in terms of the governance structure. In the rural areas, you will have some kind of direct participation in the form of Gram Sabha. There is no such concept in urban areas. Okay, maybe in some places the local people there might be taking part in such kind of meetings, but there is no structured meeting. Like in Delhi, they have the concept of Mohalla Sabha, where local MLAs would go and meet the local people regularly. But that is not a structured thing happening across the country. Clear? So direct participation of people does not take place. Are you clear? So here the structure is also very simple. Write the next heading. Types of urban local bodies. Employment in non-agri activities, yes, correct. Literacy rate, okay, correct. Types of urban local bodies. Oh, the time is up. So I'll just draw a diagram first, you can understand, and we'll discuss it in detail tomorrow. This is your entire city. Your entire city is divided into small parts. These small parts are known as, what are they known as? Ward. No? Ward. And then from each ward, all the people will vote. People here will vote and choose a local local person as a corporator or a councillor. So those are called ward members. Collectively for each city we have one group of ward members. This is the entire city. And these wards will have various ward members. And these ward members have a chairperson who is called what? Mayor. In most places he is called mayor. This is basically a municipal structure. Okay, more on this tomorrow. So, of course, I would have the expectation, which would be wrong also, that you go home today, you revise these things also, read the NCERT chapter also. Too much of expectation, I know, but you always can have hope. So if you don't have the book, you can always read online, download that chapter. You can, and there is no difficulty, I think. You can just Google search for NCERT class. Which class was this? 6. Oh, interesting, great. Class. Oh, okay. NCERT. Open this website. What the hell? Social science. Subject is social science, and the book is Exploring Society. You can download in other languages also, but I prefer English only. And then you have chapter 9. Chapter 9 you can study on your own, family and community. Chapter 10 is what is the first one that we have covered today, Grassroots Democracy Part 1. Okay, you can download the complete book, all the chapters together. 3 organs, you can see all this here. See, I just copied the diagram from here only. Did not create my own diagram. So this was chapter 10, and chapter 11 is the rural areas, which we studied right now. And then we have chapter 12, which is the urban areas. 3 chapters from this book in class 6. We can go through them tomorrow very easily. It's like very small, easy to read. Try it. Okay, great. Let's meet tomorrow. That's all for me. Jai Hind.